And welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm WatchUK99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. Quick reminder, if you're brand new, welcome aboard. I appreciate everybody's support. Please like and subscribe. If you're returning, welcome back. I appreciate it. And we will be going live Wednesday night, 6 p.m., and we're going to break down in more depth what I'm about to talk about right now. So I get home from work, come home, make myself a nice bowl of Costco chili, got some cornbread crisps from Trader Joe's, just feeling good, and my phone starts buzzing, and I see the Jets are parting ways with general manager Joe Douglas. Now, I make no apologies for this. I have been one of the biggest Joe Douglas defenders that you will find. Okay, every time somebody starts to take shots at him, like heavy shots at him, when they just focus on the negatives and ignore the positives, I find it actually downright aggravating because to me, Joe Douglas has been probably the best general manager that I have seen with the New York Jets. And any other general manager you want to talk to me about, Bill Parcells, Mike Tannenbaum, I could give you a draft pick after draft pick that busted, free agent signing after free agent signing that busted as well. Now, Joe Douglas did a lot right. He did a lot wrong. There is no mistaking that the two most important things, they went wrong, the quarterback and the head coach. The thing with the head coach, with Robert Saleh, see, I put the record much more on the coaches and the players than the general manager. It's up to the GM to get the best talent and to put the best pieces in place, but the coaches have to coach the players and put them in the best positions to win football games. That's not on the GM. Yes, the Jets have had a horrible season this year, but so many of these games have been close games. They've lost these games by 1 point, 3 points. For the most part, that's what we've seen. The San Francisco game and the Arizona game are the real exceptions. Even the Pittsburgh game, they were in that thing for pretty much the first half before it got away from them. And Robert Saleh was a very well-respected coordinator, and when you take a gamble on a first-time coordinator, that's what's going to happen. And I think as Jet fans, a lot of us expected a lot better from him. But so if you want to knock Douglas for that, that's one thing. But I can't kill him for Zach Wilson. Because who was the quarterback that he should have taken instead in that draft? The Jets needed a quarterback. At that spot, what were they going to do? Pay Sam Darnold a 4 or 5 year contract after he had been, let's be honest, a less than mediocre quarterback? That's about the kindest way I could say it. God bless him. He became a good quarterback, and that's primarily because he went to quarterback rehab known as the San Francisco 49ers. But come on, what was he supposed to do? Draft Trey Lance, draft Mac Jones, draft Davis Mills, draft Justin Fields? Last I checked, none of those guys are on their same team anymore either. Justin Fields is probably the best of the bunch, and he's been getting benched for Russell Wilson. So that whole quarterback class, and Trevor Lawrence, even if they got him, how great has he been with Jacksonville? How are the Jaguars doing this year? Tied for the worst record in the league. That whole quarterback class was terrible. There's no way around it. So what was he supposed to do? Go in another direction and maybe sign Jamar Chase, something like that, draft Jamar Chase? Yeah, that would have been great, but who's going to be throwing him the football? You know, this is not a situation that, like when the Jets drafted Sam Darnold over, say, Josh Allen. Little did we know what that would turn into. I didn't want Josh Allen at the time. I readily admit it. I would have rather have had Darnold because the report was about Allen's. He had accuracy issues, but he's come here. He's into Buffalo. He's done a great job. All the credit to him. But the Zach Wilson pick was not that situation. This was not the Chicago Bears trading up to draft Mitch Trubisky and leaving Patrick Mahomes there. That's not what this was. So I'm not killing him for that. Aaron Rodgers, absolutely a worthwhile decision. We're supposed to, Derek Carr didn't want to be here, and Derek Carr is not exactly doing that great in New Orleans anyway. And, for everything you want to tell me about, say, Mekhi Becton, who, by the way, once he went to Philadelphia, has become a very, very good guard in the league. Even though I really don't care for the man personally, he's become a good guard. Can't exactly call that pick a bust now either. Will McDonald over Broderick Jones, I'd say that's working out pretty well. The whole class of Brees, Jermaine, Garrett, Sauce, as frustrating as he's been, that's worked out. The undrafted free agents, getting Quincy Williams on waivers. Bryce Huff is an undrafted free agent. Joe Douglas did a ton right. And you know what? I wasn't really angry when I found out today when I got the news. I just was left with a very numb, emptying, disgusted feeling. I knew he was going to go. All he had to do was see that press conference when he looked like his favorite dog just got ran over, when he looked absolutely forlorn, morose, whatever, because sad does not do it justice how defeated he looked. Because Woody Johnson, I can't believe I went 5 minutes on this video without saying his name. Woody Johnson absolutely went over Joe Douglas and started basically playing general manager, which he has absolutely no right to do. None. This is the same owner who at the beginning of the season said, this is the most talented roster I've had in 25 years. I don't know if I totally agree with that, but definitely the most talented in the last 15 to 16. I would say this Jet roster is the most talented they've had since the Brett Favre year back in 2008. I will go that far. And this one I think is very debatable with it. There's a reason ESPN at the beginning of the year, when they rank every roster 1 to 32, they ranked the Jets second only to the San Francisco 49ers. When Joe Douglas got here, they were 30th in that. Yeah, you could say, oh, that's just an ESPN list. It didn't translate to winning games. Yeah, because the coaches didn't do their jobs. I could easily blame injuries too. I'm not going to do that because everybody deals with injuries. The coaches weren't right, and it was just a shitty time to draft a quarterback. But here's the thing with Woody. The more he does this stuff, firing Robert Saleh without really consulting Joe Douglas, getting himself, basically mediating himself into the Hassan Reddick negotiation, the Devontae Adams trade. Woody Johnson pushed that across the finish line. He neutered Joe Douglas. And again, the best, in my mind, the best freaking GM they've had in years, decades. Woody Johnson refuses to realize, this is what scares me. For all the Jet fans who said, yay, finally, Joe Douglas is gone, he's stuck, oh, he's gone. Who the hell are you replacing him with? And if you have a better candidate in mind, why are they coming to the Jets? Why are they working for the Johnson family? Why? They saw what happened to Joe Douglas, a man who was respected around the league as a talent evaluator. Well respected, a good football man who got this team the best playmakers I have seen in years. This defense was dominant for 2 seasons up until this year. And yes, he gets some blame for messing some things up there, no doubt about it. But Douglas turned this team around as far as the talent goes. And that's the most important thing that the GM does. Woody Johnson decided he could do the job better. So why would any, like this Ray Agnew from Detroit, you name the guy, any big-time assistant GM who's out there, why do they want to be with the Jets? I wouldn't want to come there and work for that owner. As big of a scumbag as Bill Belichick is, he's right. The Jets are the Jets, and Woody is Woody. And you know what? The Jets are the Jets because Woody is Woody. President-elect Trump, send him to England now. Please, don't let Woody Johnson have any role in deciding who the new GM, coach, staff, popcorn vendor, parking lot attendants. I don't want him having any say in this. None. If you let Woody Johnson like test drive your Cadillac, he'd drive it up the George Washington Bridge into the Hudson River. I did say I wasn't mad when I got the news, right? It's not that I'm mad at the news because Joe Douglas's contract was expiring at the end of the year. Another thing a lot of people didn't seem to understand, he was going to leave anyway. The way he was being treated, he was going to be gone. And I couldn't blame him for 1 second because you know what? Joe Douglas is too freaking good to work with somebody like Woody Johnson. Woody Johnson, good man, humanitarian, lousy owner. We have Leon Hess Part 2, Jet fans. Leon Hess, the sequel. That is all Woody Johnson is. And you tell me who among the desired candidates out there. The Dallas Cowboys are going to need a head coach. All right, we know that. A couple other teams are going to need a coach. We'll see what happens as far as the GM goes. But why would you want this job? And it's all because of this owner. And even when Christopher was here, didn't work out too great. Chris wasn't too great. Hey, they hired Adam Gase when Chris was here. when he was on watch, I can't remember the last time in the last year and a half I was more optimistic about the Jets than I was in the last year and a half. And right now, I don't think I have ever been so pessimistic about where they're going forward. And that doesn't even get into the Aaron Rodgers effect. If they're going to keep him, they're going to let him go, take the cap hits, which will cripple them for multiple years. Personally, I'm not ready to give up on Aaron Rodgers, but you know what? A new GM and a new head coach are probably going to want to start fresh, and I can't blame him for that. I really can't. So you tell me who's going to want to come in, deal with those cap hits and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, there's a little bit of young talent on there, no doubt about it. Maybe, 10 to 12 core players. You could say that. But you know what? The young talent that we talked about earlier that Joe Douglas drafted, that should currently be leading this team into playoff contention right now. Why the hell do they want to stay here? You watch this offseason. At least one of them is going to be asking for a ticket out of town. There will be trade demands coming up this offseason. You watch. Because why does anybody want to be here? Garrett Wilson, God bless him. He wants to win as much as anything. But at the end of the day, what loyalty does he have to this team? Just because they drafted him? No, he's going to want to go to a place where he has a chance to win, and I can't blame him for that. Sauce, Brees, JJ, on and on the list goes, on and on the misery goes. 15 years, no playoffs. No winning season since 2015, and is there any end in sight? Right now, I got no optimism for you guys. I got no strategy for you either. Right now, I got no real optimism for you. I got no strategy right now. I got a couple coaching candidates in mind, and I'll talk about those on the Wednesday Night Live show. But as far as an overall leader of the organization goes, who can the Jets hire where the Johnsons will actually stay out of the way and let them do their effing jobs? Who is it? Pete Carroll? Why would he come back? He's probably still bitter 30 years later if the Jets fired him. I got to see, God bless Bilal Powell. I interacted with Bilal Powell a little bit today, and he's talking about Bill Belichick coming in as GM. The idea of Bill Belichick coming in to I can't even think of a comparison on how absurd it is for Bill Belichick to ever come to the Jets. It is just so beyond. It would be like George Steinbrenner owning the Red Sox back in the day. It's just so ridiculous. I don't know who it is who can actually fix this, because this felt like we were on our way to getting it fixed. But I'm scared where this franchise is going. You think it's bad now, Jet fans? Wait till the young talent starts to get paid, or they want out, or we deal with these enormous cap hits from the quarterback, and we can't field up a decent team. Who could ever come here? Who is the Mark Messier of the Jets? Who is that? Years ago, it was obvious. Bill Parcells. And you know what? He didn't get the Jets to the promised land, but he made them a respectable team, and that respect lasted a long time as Herman Edwards took over. And that whole run from about 10 years after that went quite well. It was a good run for a long time. Jets had a lot of playoff years. Never got over the hump, and you had some heartbreaking losses, but you weren't embarrassed to be a Jet fan. This is downright embarrassing. And I'm tired of being embarrassed. I'm tired of being kicked around. I'm tired of telling somebody that I'm a Jets fan and have them give me that look of pity. I don't want to be pitied anymore. I want to be hated as a Jet fan. I want to be what the Chiefs are, what the Patriots were. I want to get to the point where we win so many freaking Lombardi trophies we get numb to them, and we start comparing which one was better, which of our teams was the best, which of our championship teams made you most proud. Right now, I don't know when we'll see a playoff game again. I don't know what decade that'll be. Guys, thanks for listening to my little ramble there. But like I said, I'll be back Wednesday night, 6 p.m. We'll talk about this in more depth. I'm sure I'll be doing a decent amount more yelling, and I'll also be ranking my 5 head coach candidates I want to see the Jets target this offseason. Everybody, don't let the Jets ruin your life. and I'll be back with more content from you know where, the Wicker Chair.